Today, inshallah, we will start with two-dimension array. We have talked about one-dimension array, and we have talked about the string and C-string. And now we will talk about the two-dimension array. Okay, so now I am in slide number 1, and I will go to slide number 2. Two-dimension array can define one array for multiple sets of data. We will talk about this statement, inshallah, in the next slides. Okay. It is just like a table in a spreadsheet. Use two sides declarators in definition. So, for example, I have here defined two constant rows and columns, 4 by 3, and based on that I have defined my array here. So in that case I have here a two-dimension array consists of 4 rows and 3 columns. 4 rows and 3 columns starting from 0 as one dimension array. So here I will start with 0, 1, 2, 3. I have four rows and I have 3 columns in this case. So I will have column number 0 or index by 0, and column index by 1, and column index by 2. So this is the two-dimension array that we have declared here. So it is important to add the rows and the columns for the two-dimension array. Now, if I want to access any elements here, first of all, I should know the row number and I should know the column number. So the first number here refers to rows, okay, and the second number refers to columns here. The first number refers to rows, and the second number refers to columns. So, for example, if I ask you to access the first element and put a value inside this element, simply you will write exams here of 0 and 0 equal, for example, 10. So in that case here, number 10 will be saved inside the first element. So I have to specify the row and the column here. And the first number is the row and the second number is the column here. Now, take a look at this. Here it's supposed to be the number of rows, and here, as I said, the number of columns. Now, if I want to access a specific rows here, a specific row, the cells will have the following value: 0, 0, and then 0, 1, then 0, 2, 0, 2. So, as you can see here, because I am accessing the first row here, row number 0, the row is fixed, is 0, but the column is changing from 0 to 1, 2, but the row is fixed. Now, if I want to access, for example, column number 2 here, sorry, this column number 2, now the row is changing and the column is fixed, which is 2 here, and here, and here. So as you can see here, for accessing this column, the column is equal to 2, 2, and so on. But the row is changing. So it depends on the way or what you want to access. If you want to access row by row, the row should be fixed. If you want to access column by column, the column should be fixed. See, so here, as I said, I am accessing row number 0, 0, 0, 0, as you can see here as the first number. And here I am accessing column number 2, and the number is changing. It is just like Excel. It is just like Excel sheet. Okay. Now I will go to slide number 3. Here, as I have mentioned here, look at this table. You can see that we have element number 0 and element number 1. So for the same row, the row is fixed. As you can see here, for 0 and 0 here, and 0 here. For row number, for the second row, we have 1, 1, 1. For the third, we have 2, 2, 2, and also for the fourth, we have a 3, 3, 3. And for the column, look at this. Now here we have zeros. For column number 0, here we have 1. Here we have 2. Now, here I am accessing the element with the row number 2 and column number 2. So when I write this statement, here I am saving the value inside this cell. It's just like working with sheet or with Excel sheet. You should know the row and the column, but in Excel you are writing the letter, then the row, the column name, then the row, but here we write the row, then the column, the rows, then the columns. So if I want to access these elements, as you can see here, the size of the element is 4 by 4. So here we have here 12 elements, which is 4 by 3. So we have 12 elements. And as I mentioned here, why we did not use just a for loop starting from 0 to 12, why we didn't use this? Because as we have mentioned before, for I equals 0 to 12, why we didn't do that? Because in that case, we don't have element index, for example, here in this table, index by 11 or by 12 or by 9 or by 8. So, okay, I can do my loop to do 12 step, but I cannot access these elements. I cannot access these elements here, starting from 0 to 12, 8, 9, 11. I cannot access these numbers. I don't need to access 8 and 9 and 11 and 10. I need to access these numbers. So this is why I am writing here nested for. Nested for. Nested for here to access these elements. So for example, row will start for example, my outer loop with the row will start from 0 to 3, and for the columns, it will start from 0 to 2. So I have to represent this writing an instead for loop. Now I have two ways to access this array. I can access this array row by row here, and we will see how. Or I can access the array columns by column. It depends on the question, and it depends it depends on what you need from this array. So you can access the elements row by row, or you can access the array here column by column. Okay, now I will go to slide number 4 here. The question here, how can I can access this double cells? The size of this, it consists of 10 rows and 5 columns starting from 0. So the rows will start from 0 to 9, and the column will start from 0 to 4. How can I access this element? Simply I will write, as you can see here, it is easy. Cells of what? It is easy. I don't want to ask you about this. Cells of 9 and 4. Put it, for example, 100. So now 100 will be saved here. So as we have mentioned here, we should know the number of the row number and the column number in order to access any element inside this two-dimensional array. Okay. Now I will go to slide number 5. I will clear the drawing and go to slide number 5. Okay. Now, here in slide number 5, if you remember, I have left the first statement in slide number 2. And I told you that we will talk about statement later. So what do we mean by this statement in slide number 2? You can scroll the slides and go back to slide number 2 and see the first statement, and then go back again to slide number 5. Now, I can define the array this way. So, int exam, rows and column, it is 2 by 2 array. I can just set the values like this. So I have here put a list of value inside row number 1. Then I have here put list of value inside list number 2. So in that case, I can define the following. So here the rows will be 48, 87, 92, and 97. Here. So here the rows will be filled row by row. So here it is just like define. So here we have defined, we will fill this array which row by row. So now 84 will be filled in the first element, 78 will be here, and for the second row 97, 92, and 97 will be filled inside the second row here. So you can use braces to fill values here. You can use braces to fill values. Now I will go to slide number 6. Now we have here a 2-dimension array of size 5. So it consists of of size 5 by 5. So it consists of 5 rows and 5 columns. So the array will be filled row by row. So here we'll have 2, 7, 9, 6, 4. And the second row here, this one will be saved here. Sorry. And so on. Now we will go to next slide and I will stop and share again. So I am filling the 2-dimension array row by row. I am filling the 2-dimension array here row by row, and the same with I am filling here in slide number 6 the array row by row. So 2, 7, 9, 6, 4 will be saved in the first row. Then 6, 1, 8, 9, 4 will be saved in the second row. And the same for other values here. For the second array, we will have 1, 2, 3 in the first row, and the fourth element will set to 0 here. Okay. Now for the second row, we will have, for example, 4 2s. And for the third, as you can see here, we have no elements. It will contain zeros. And here we have, I will reshare again, just give me seconds because the next slide is the same for one. I will write it and reshare, don't worry, inshallah. We have 1, 5, 1, that's a 5, and so on. So the elements will be filled array rows by row, row by row. Now I will go to the same slide, it's talking about the same idea, and reshare the screen again. Reshare the screen again. Here. So as you can see now, inshallah, within a few seconds, you will see. Now I am in slide number 7, and as you can see here, how these arrays are filled. So they have been filled row by row, row by row. Okay. Now I will go to the slide number 8, and we will declare a 2-dimension array. Now I am in slide number 8, and we will declare a 2-dimension array, and I'm going to do the following. First of all, number A, I am going to display all the elements in 2-dimension array, summing all the elements in the 2-dimension array, summing the rows of two-dimensional array, summing the columns of two-dimensional array. So first of all, I will access the whole elements and print them. So as we have mentioned here before, if we want to access the two-dimensional array, we need to use a nested for loop. Now I will go to slide number 7 to start with the first coding slide here. Slide number 9, sorry. We will go to slide number 9. So as you can see here, I started with the rows, then the columns. Anyone can tell me how we are displaying the elements here? Are we displaying the elements row by row or column by column? Anyone can tell me what is happening here and why, and how we are displaying the value here. Now I am in slide number 9. Yes, row by row. We are displaying these elements row by row. Why we are doing this? Just I will try to draw here, draw what is happening. Now as you can see here, this is the outer for the outer, sorry, one, and here the inner one. Now if the outer one, the outer, and here is the inner. Now the rows starting here from 0, while row less than number of rows, row plus plus. Don't forget that here I have used less, not less than. Now the row here will be 0. When row equal 0, I will go to the inner loop here. Now column will be changed from 0 to calls. So the columns will be changing from 0 to number of columns. Let's say, for example, 2 or 3. Let's suppose that it is 3. So as you can see here, 0 is fixed, and the thing is changed is columns. It first of all will start 0 and 0, and then it will become 0, 1, then 0, 2, and so on, until 0, 3, for example, until 0, 3. So based on what I have written here, I am printing the value. I am printing the value here. Row, which in the first iteration inside the inner loop, the row is 0, so I will start from 0 to 0. Then 0, row is fixed from the outer loop here. 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3. Then I will go and print a new line. I will exit the inner for. I have printed the elements for the row. Then I have printed the new line. Then I will go to the outer loop again, and now row become 1. So I will print here 1, 1, 0. Row is 1, so the row is fixed. 1, 1, 1, 2, and 1, 3. Then I will print another new line. Here I will print the row, and then I will print enter. So this statement is for this for. Here, don't forget this. And this one is related to the outer for. This statement is not related to the inner one. I have added the braces here to make sure that you have clearly understood that this statement is only related to the inner for. Now I will go here and print them row by row, because I have started the rows first. Now in the previous lecture I have asked the first group one question. Now I am here displaying the value row by row. What changes I will do in the code in order to display the values here columns by column? So I don't want to display them in horizontal way. I want to display them column by column here. So I want to print each column, not each row. Then I will write a new line. So I will print the column, and then the second, then the third column. What changes I will do here if I want to print the elements of the array column by column? يلا شباب. What changes? Yes. Abdullah, is there anyone other than Abdullah? Yalla guys. No one? Are you with me? طيب. If yes, Abdullah, go ahead. Go ahead, Abdullah. What we will do if I want to display the value column by column? Yes. Then we will reserve the operation. Now we can, as one of your colleagues in the previous lecture said, we can just swap these. So we can here write call here, and here it should be the row. So the first number will contain the columns and the second index will contain the row. So here the column will start from 0. So the column will actually represent the rows here. But this is somehow will confuse you. It is not wrong, it is correct, but it is as the fastest answer, as your colleague said, and he was right actually, because it is really the fastest answer. But we don't want to confuse you in this. ما بدناش نربككم في هذا الموضوع. فلازم, as your colleague Abdullah said, we should here start with the columns, then we will start with the row. So let's trace the first row here, the first iteration. Now, as you can see here, the column is 0. When the column equals 0, I will go through my inner loop here. The row, now column is 0 here. Column will be starting from 0. So when the column is 0, the row will be changing from 0, let's say, to 3. And based on this, I will print it like this. First of all, 0, 0. Okay. Then it will be, the row is changing here because I have put the row here. 1 and the column 0. Then 2, 0. Then 3, 0. So now, as you can see here, the column is fixed. I am printing the value of the cells in column number 0. And the row is changing from 0 to 3, for example. From 0 to 3, as you can see here. Based on my loop here, the row is changed. So when column equals 0, the row will start from 0 to 3. When the column equals 1, the rows will start from 0, 1, because the column is fixed here, because it is in the outer loop here, 0, 1. We can write here 0, 2, and we will not forget as 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, whatever. So here the column is changed. Column will be 1, so 0, 1, 0, 2, sorry, 0, 1, sorry for this, it will be 0, 1, then I will go and the row will be changed, so it will be 1, 1, and it will be 2, 1, then 3, 1, then 3, 1. So I am control. I control what I need to be changed. I am the controller based on what I have written on, or how I have written my for loop here. So they are nested here. So if I started by the row here, that means I'm going to access the array row by row. Row by row. If I have started, if my outer loop was above the row, I will access the array row by row. And if my outer loop is starting with column, like I have did here, like I have, done here, I will access the array column by column. Column by column, and so on. And don't forget this one. This is important actually to enter to write a new line. So here I am accessing the column, but I print each column inside a row here, like a row, because I am writing enter here. I am printing the value enter. So the first column will be displayed on the screen, then the second column, then the third column. This is for solution, so COL here. If we started with the column here, column. So this is how I am accessing the array element. It depends on my outer loop and inner loop. If I want to access or working on the rows, row by row, my outer loop should start with the row. If I am going to access the array element column by column, I will start my outer loop with columns, and so on. Okay. You should trace the code here, and you should make and see what is happening here. And don't forget, the first number is for the row, and the second number is for the columns. Okay. Now I will go to slide number 10. Here I have, as you can see, I have find the sum of all the elements in two-dimensional array. So what I have done here, I just simply defined a variable called total here. Sorry, I can't draw now. And I have just added the values of the array inside the total. Okay. After exiting the both for the outer and the inner here, I have printed out the total. So I have displayed the sum on the screen, or the total on the screen here. So here I am accessing the array row by row. it does not make any difference for me if I want to access the array column by column, because I am going to access the whole array and the results will be the same. So I can start here with column, then row. It does not make difference to me because I am finding the sum of all, or I want to find the sum of all the elements inside the two-dimensional array. Okay, yeah, I think this is easy. It is not that difficult. Now I will go to slide number 11. I hope now you can see the screen. I am now in slide number 11. As you can see here, I have find the sum of the row. So I'm going to access now the array row by row. So I have started my for loop, my outer loop by the rows. And of course, I have defined total equals 0. And as you can see here, I have put inside this variable a 0 value, or I have initialized this variable by 0. Then I will go through the array here, through the row, the first row. As you can see here, row is 0, then 0, 0, 0. It will become 0, 0. Then it will become 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3. Then I will find the total here. So I will find the sum of the first row here. Okay. Now I did not, after that, after I exit the first row, I will print the sum of the row here, the total. And here is the number of the row, which is +1, because I want to print row number 1, row number 2, row number 3, and so on. So here I will find the sum, the total for the first row. Now I will go again to my iterate, to my outer loop, and this is important. This is very important statement here. I will initialize or put 0 or save 0 inside the total again, because I'm going to access the row, the second row. Then I will find the sum of the second row here. After exiting the second row, I will print the sum of the second row, the total. Then I will go to the third row and I will initialize again the total to 0. So this is a very, very important step here in the green. Yes, I will stop and share maybe and come back. Someone raised up his hand, but I cannot see who's raising up his hand. I will share and stop share and share again. I hope all the slides are shown to you. So now can you see now slide number 11? Can you see the slide? That's good. Now, here I am finding the sum as we have mentioned, row by row, and as you can see here, I have reset each time the total to 0. Now I will go to slide number 12. Inshallah. So now I am in slide number 12. As you can see here, and I am finding in this code, we are finding the sum column of the columns of two-dimensional array. So as we have mentioned previously, we will access the array column by column. Then we have started by the column here and here. Don't forget this. If I want to access the element row by row, I should write in the outer loop here the rows. It is the same logic. It is not that different from the previous slide. And you can print, you will find the total for each row. Then you will print the total for column number 1, column number 2, and so on. The main difference here, or we will not, that we have started with the column. Our outer loop is the column, so we have make the column fixed. Then we went through the row, and we have find the total here. So here we will find it row by row, column by column. 1, 2, 3. Here the sum of the first, the second, the third, and the fourth. Yes, Hussein, Fawzi.
Don't understand the column +1. What does that do?
It is just an output here. It's just an output. So I am printing in the screen like this. The total for column. Now let's look at the array at the column here. Now for the first iteration, the column equals 0, right?
Yes.
So yes, that's good. Now I will go through my loop and I will find the sum of the first column here. So the row will be changed from 0, for example, to 3. And the column is 0, is fixed. So I will find 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0. So here I have found the total. Now just I am displaying here the total for column number 1, the total for column. It will be like this, the total.
So it's only for the columns.
Yeah, it is just for just showing up the order or the number of rows. Yeah, the total of column number 1, the column 1, it's just like this, is the total. So this one is just for adding a number for the column. It does not make sense to make the number starting from 0. Okay, so they make it +1. So this will not affect the result of the total. Okay, is this clear, Hussein?
Yes, it's good.
Yes, and so on. The same for the previous slide. We have we have used row +1. So we don't want to say that the total for row number 0, because you understand that as a developer, but the user will not understand this. The user need a clear message for him. So if you told him the total for row number 0, he will not understand. What do you mean by row 0? I don't understand. So for the user, it would be better to show a clear message for them. This is just the reason behind it. But you as a CS student, you understand that the column starts from 0, but any user using the Euro program does not understand this. And he has no knowledge about the array. Now I will go to slide 13. 13 contains the output of the code above. Slide number 13 here. Here is the output for what we have talked about in the previous slides. The sum of the row, the sum of the columns. As you can hear, the total for row 1, row 2, row 3. We did not say the total for row 0 or row 1 or row. We started like this is better, I think, for the user to show the order of the rows or columns starting from 1. Now we will go to look at this code, please. Here we have, I am now in slide number 14. I am in slide number 14, and I have declared an array marks which is consists of 10 rows and 3 columns, as you can see here. These are the number of students. These are not the indexes here, 1, 2, 3. The index always start from 0. Don't forget this at all, or don't make this confuse you. In some programming language like Visual Basic, the index starts from 1. In some cases. But in C++, Java, Python, the index always starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 until 10, and here 1, 2, 3. What we mean by this, if we are talking about the indexes 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, and 0 to 9. Now, here we have to find the following. The average for the student in quiz 1, and we will go over these 4 questions inshallah in the next slide. Now what do I want to just pay your attention for? This one. That means the value will be set in the first row here in the green, and the value in the yellow here will be set to the second row, and so on. And this value will be set to the third and fourth and fifth row, and so on. So I am filling the value of this array row by row. As you can see, the result is saved here. So I am initializing this array, 2-dimension array, using the following value. Okay. Now I will go to slide number 14, and we will start with solving the question here. First of all, our first question, find the average for student mark in quiz 1. So here, the quizzes 1, 2, 3, and here are the student. Here are the student. We mean by the first quiz, we mean find the average. In other words, I am telling you to find the average of column number 0, right? I am telling you to find the average of column number 0 only. So I am here just accessing, if you just imagine this one in the yellow here, is just like a 1-dimension array. I don't want you to go to any other elements here. I just want to go through this line in the yellow, or this column, which is 0. So I have used only one for loop, starting from 0 to 9, and I have make it simple as this one. This is column number 0, and the row is changing from 0 to 0, then 0 to 1. 0 to 0, then 1, 0, 3, 0, 4, 0, until 9, 0. So based on that, it is just like this. I am finding here it will be 0, 0. Then 1, 0. This is fixed, as you can see, 2, 0. 3, 0, and so on. So it is just like a one-dimension array. So I have written a for loop here, but of course I am using the two indexes, and I have made the column fixed because I need fixed, because as you can see here, it is fixed. I need find the average for the student in quiz 1. The quiz 1, we mean by this column. Okay, so this is for the first question. Is this clear, guys, or do you want me to explain again? Clear?
Clear.
Clear. Inshallah, I hope this is clear for all. Now, I will go to the next slide, which is slide number 16. I will clear the drawing first, and I will go to slide number 16 now. Now, it is just like the other, but here I am accessing the row. Find the average for student number 5 in 3 quizzes. Find the average for student number 5 in the 3 quizzes here. So this is what's happening actually here. I am starting here. Now I want to find this row. What do I mean by this question? That I mean to find the average for the student. So I will access the array, a row inside the array. So I have fixed the row here, and then I have make the column changing from 0. So I will start here from 4. We'll find 4, 0, then 4, 1, then 4, 2. Sorry for the writing. 4, 2 here. 4, 0, 4, 1, 4, 2. This is 4, 0. This is 4, 0. This is 4, 1, and this is 4, 2. Then after finding the sum here, I have divided it by the number. Then I have printed out the average. Don't forget that finding the total is within the 4, but for the average and the other calculation and the print out, these statements are out of the for loop. That's all here in this slide. And don't forget and don't make this confuse you here. The indexes start from 0. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So for the student number 4, for the student number 5, we are dealing with index number 4. 0, 1, 2, 3. This is why we have written here 4. Because we, as you know, start with zeros. Now, I will go to the next slide, inshallah. Okay, I will clear the drawing. I forgot to do that. Now I will go to next slide. Now here I will find the highest mark in quiz number 2. And as you can see here, we have starting from 0. And I have written my for loop as a one-dimension array. You can imagine this column as one dimension, right? then I have fixed the column because I make it column 1 because I need quiz 2. Then I have started my for loop to find the maximum number here. So I will do my comparison here, okay, making the row fixed, the column fixed, and the row is changing as you can see here, starting from 0 to 9. Then I have find the maximum grade. Yes, still frozen or what? Here I am finding the maximum number inside the quiz number 2. I mean by quiz number 2 this column number 1. So I have made the column fixed. Then I start my comparison and find the maximum number. So it is just like dealing with one-dimension array, but I am using here 2 indexes. One of them is fixed. So I am using 2 locations and one of them is fixed. Because one of the rows or column is fixed, I don't need to use 2 nested for. So here the value will be changing from 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3 until 0, 9. And every time I will make my comparison and I will check if the array inside the element is greater than the max, then the element will be equal max. After exiting the for loop here, I will print the maximum value here. After exiting the now I will go to slide number 18. Now I will go to slide number 18. I hope it will not be frozen. Now I will go to slide number 18. Now I am in slide number 18. Okay. Find the average for each student in 3 quizzes. Okay. Based on this question guide, am I going to access the array column by column or row by row? First of all, guys, I am now in slide number 18. I hope you are with me. I'm going here in this question D to access the array column by column or row by row. I am going to find the average for each student. Am I going to access the table or the 2-dimension array row by row or column by column? Yalla, I need an answer.
Row by row.
Row by row, yes. I'm going to access this row by row. Yes, because for each student, if I ask you find the average for each quiz, for the 10 students, for example, you will access them column by column. But based on my question here, I'm going to find the average for each student in 3 quizzes here. So I have defined total equal to 0. I have started my outer loop using the row because I'm going to access these elements row by row. And each time I will find the average for each row, the sum for each row, sorry. And after exiting the inner loop, I will find the average here. Then I will print the average for the student, the first row. Then I will go back again to the row and I will set total to 0. Then I will complete my for loop here again and again. So in that case, I will find the average for each row. If I ask you to find the average for each quiz for the 10 students, so in that case, you are going to find the average for each quiz. So you will go through them column by column. I think this is clear to you. Do you have any question regarding this one? for slide number 18. Do you have any question? Is everything is clear? Okay. Now I will go to the output, I think, slide number 19. I am now in slide number 19. Here are the output for the average, as you can see here. And don't forget actually to define the average of type double. You need to make the average of type double in order to show these results here, Okay. Because we need to show the number with its decimal points. As you can see here, the average is very important data, so we want it very accurate. We want to show it clearly and with its decimal points or decimal number. So make the average of type double. The average of type double. Now I will go to through, I think, 3 exercises. 2 exercises are easy, but I want to pay your attention for the third one. I want to look carefully at the third exercise. Now I will go to the first, then the second, and the third. Now all the solutions for these 3 exercises are attached. You just go over this solution and find the code related. Just I want to explain the idea for every exercise. So now we have 3 exercises. I will go to slide number 20, exercise number 1. Here, write a program that will fill a one-dimensional array of size 10 with multiplication table of a given number. For example, if the given number was 3, then the array should be as follows: 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, and so on. So if I have entered the 3, I will fill inside this array the multiplication results for 3. If I have filled, for example, 5, the array will be filled like the following. It will be 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on. So all depends on what does the user enter, based on the user input. Okay, it depends on the user input. Now, I will not just explain the whole code. I want someone of you to tell me how we can solve this. Anyone can tell me how we can solve this inside our program? First of all, I am going to enter the number here, CN. Then, of course, I'm going to write a for loop to save the value inside the array for I equals 0, while I less or than 9, because we have 10 value here from 0 to 9, I plus plus. Then I will start. I need here just to write اللي هو number, for example, number or num of I equal what? Equal what? I need you here. I need your answer here. I am going to read the number. After reading the number, I will find the multiplication table results for this number and save it inside the array. So what am I going to do here? don't be confused. This num is different than, let's call it nums. This is array. This is an array. This is an array. I call it nums with S. Don't forget S. Here is num. This is variable. Variable. Yes, I زائد 1. That's good. So here writing I plus 1. خلاص, I will first of all write multiply 5 by 1. I not equal 0. We will start I from 0. Why we have started from 0? Because I am accessing the array element. So first of all, I am going to save the value inside element number 0. But I am going to multiply the number by the number multiplied by I plus 1. So 5 will be multiplied by 0 when I equals 0 plus 1, which is 1. So here will be 5. Then I will become 1, so I'm going to save the value inside element number 1, but I will multiply it by I, which is 1 plus 1, it will be 5 by 2, which is 10. And so on. The same result here. Thank you, Sultan. Now, I forgot what I'm going to ask you here. I will ask you another question. Is it correct to make it like this? I plus plus or I equal I plus 1? Is it correct to write inside the surrounded here practices or surrounded parentheses here I plus plus or I equal I plus 1? Is this correct, guys?
I think yes, Dr. For the first one.
For the whole iteration. Can I, for the first one, you mean I plus plus?
Yes.
But I will, yes, Abdullah said no. Now, just I want you, the second answer is correct. So this one, guys, is not like this one. Don't be confused. هذا assignment. I am changing the value here. Here, I don't change the value of I. I don't change here the value of I. Here, I am changing the value of I. Just I will stop share to write the on the screen the difference. Give me seconds, okay? But don't forget here, because the drawing will be clear. Don't forget what I am asking here. I am asking I plus 1 and I plus plus. There is difference between them here. There is difference between them. So here I am assigning the value. That means I equal I plus 1. Here, no, I don't. I'm just putting number here to be multiplied, but I did not change the value of I. So they are not the same. Be careful with this. They are not the same here. When you say I equal I plus 1, that means you are always changing the value of I. Here I don't do anything. I am just add the value to I without return the result to I again. I don't save the value again or set the value again to I. So there is a difference between them. So this is correct, but this is not. It is clear, guys?
تقدر تعيد بس النقطة حقت الاي بلس بلس مع هذه الإشارة.
هذه I plus plus. What do we mean by this? I equal I plus what? 1. كم قيمة الاي بتصير الحين؟ لو كانت 0 كم بتصير الاي؟ 1. صح. But هنا أنا بغير قيمة الاي in this statement. in this statement, am I changing the value of I?
No.
No, this is the difference. Okay, this is the difference. So I don't want to write I plus plus or I equal I plus 1. This one, okay, this one or this one. I am just here adding 1 to I without putting the result or setting the result inside I again. واضح؟ يعني النتيجة ما بضيفها داخل الاي مرة ثانية. فقط أنا محتاج لإجراء عملية ضرب دون ما أغير قيمة الاي. Okay? This is it is not actually a very important question. Just I want to pay your attention for these points. It is not a very important question, but sometimes students confuse or do not distinguish between this and this. So if you have written this and you will increment I twice, right? In the for loop you will add it by 1. And here you will, if you write this here, you will add it by 1 again. صح? You will add it here by 1 and you will add it again here by 1. So it seems that you have added 2 to the I, not 1. Because you will add here 1 to I and you will add another 1 to I if you used I plus plus. Okay, just quickly. Here I will put inside the array nums I equal the value of n, let's call it n, ضرب I plus 1. This one. Okay. Now I plus here. This is the multiplication. If let's suppose I have entered 5, then I will restart from 0. So in the first element 0, I will multiply 5 by 0 plus 1, which is 5. 0 plus 1, which is 1. 1 multiplied by 5, which is 5. Then I will become 1. I plus 1 will be 2. 2 by n will become 10, and so on. Now my question was, is it correct to add I plus plus here? I plus plus here instead of I plus 1? This is my question. This is not applicable. This is wrong because I am here changing the value of I. I will be I plus 1 here. And inside the for loop also I am changing the value. If you remember, inside the for you have also I plus plus. So now you are changing the value of I here. You are inside the for loop increasing the value of I by 1. And also if you have written inside the parentheses here I plus plus, you will add I, you will increase and you will add another 1 to I. So it seems that you have added 2 to I. But we don't want to do that. So this is why it's wrong to write I plus plus. We have to write only I plus 1 because I don't want this value to be changed. I don't want it to be changed. I just want to multiply a number. Plus 1, I plus 1. I don't, inside this statement here, I don't change any value. I am just adding 1 to I without returning the result or setting the result again to I. فالidea هنا إنه using I plus plus instead of I plus 1 wrong. أو using هذه I equal I plus 1. Because we have here هذه أول جملة I plus plus. وأنا بزيد في الI 1. وفين لو فرضنا let's suppose that we have I plus plus inside here, so it will be added by another 1. So it seems that I have added I by 2, which is wrong. إن شاء الله الشاشة مو فروز. أرد أعيد. تمام؟
لا واضح يا دكتور.
تمام. This one, yes. فهذا الأونلاين يعني متعب بس. على كل حال. الحال هذا clear all drawing. Now I will go to the third exercise. طبعا I will not go through the code because it's too long to go over the code and explain the code for the third exercise. But inshallah I will clarify the main concept behind the array. Now guys, now I am in slide 23 and please be listen to me carefully here, okay? In this exercise, this is now we start what we call here, I am now in slide 22. We start here what we call a real life. يعني let's say we can call it a real life example. And you will see كيف الأشياء تتعقد. How is the complexity increase here. كيف الكومبلكسيتي للأكواد هنا بتتعقد عمالها معنا. قاعد تتعقد واحدة واحدة. شلون هذا؟ خلينا نشوف هذا كيف. Now here we have, as you can see here, the courses. I am now in slide 22. Here we have the courses. And here we have the names. And here we have the data. أو الvalues. طيب. My question is, first of all, for this exercise, how many arrays we want to declare? Is it one dimension? Is it two dimension? Two arrays, or three or four? How many arrays we want to define? Do we need to define one or two or three or four? How many arrays we need to define here and why? يلا شوف نفكر فيها شوي. طيب if I have used two dimension array, لو أنا استخدمت two dimension it's okay واحدة one array هذا ممكن. But here I need to distinguish between the courses and the names and the grades. لازم أكتب, I need to write a code to distinguish between grades and the course's name and the names here. So I need what we call pattern match or matching string. I need to check if this is name, course name or name. And this is too difficult, especially with the names. Okay? Especially with the names. So I cannot actually find a rule to distinguish the name عشان أميز الاسم مثلا عن الدرجة. ممكن واحد اسمه إيه. Okay? Let's suppose that. ممكن واحد one of the students' name is like the course name. I cannot find a way to distinguish this. Maybe I can find a rule, but that would be too difficult for me. So I can use one dimension array to solve this. Okay? And consider the first row here is the header, and the first column is the student name. I can use this. But in our case, it's too difficult to distinguish between the courses and names and the grades. يعني راح يكون صعب عندي جدا إنه أميز إنه هذه هيدر وهذه أسماء داخل الأري وهذه عبارة عن values. أوكي؟ فهو ممكن الحل كده ولكنه very صعب في at least in your level now, in your level in this course. So what I want to do here, I need to define, what do you think guys? How many arrays I need here to use? ممكن واحد يقول لي كم array ممكن استخدم and why؟
مو ثلاثة يا دكتور؟
ثلاثة نعم. هذا الاري الأولى هذه one dimension تمام اللي هي الكورسز. راح نحكي لكم ليش احنا بنستخدمهم كمان شوي. واي كورسز تمام. هذه one dimension one dimension وهذه النيمز برضه one dimension. one dimension array. هذه names. Yes, we are dividing the problem now. يعني بنحاول نفهم المشكلة. نعم.
Okay.
The subtask. Yeah, because it is somehow complex. It is somehow complex. ممتاز عبد الله انك ذكرتنا. Yes, we are dividing here the task to subtask, or divide our problem to sub-problem in order to solve a complex task. Here we have two dimensions. So we have here one dimension, one array. The second array is for the names is a one dimension array. Then we have here the two dimension array. طيب what would happen here? I will find first of all, as you know, the names of the array of names have indexes 0, 1, 2, 3. And here we have 0, 1, 2. For the one dimension array, also we have indexes. Now, what is the connection between these and these? I need to know the index of my answer. Here, if I reach to an answer, for example, I am searching for a course or a grades or a number, and based on my answer, I will return in my solution index. Indexes, يعني راح أرجع من our answer, I will return from my answer indexes. مواقع. And I will, if I ask you to find the course name, for example, you will find the index here, and based on this index, you will find the course name here inside this array. If I ask you to find the student name, you will return from your answer an index, for example, this one, and you will find, for example, the student name here related to this index. So the main we are connecting between the two-dimension array and the other one-dimension array by indexes. يعني أنا كل مرة راح أعمل return لإندكس أو location، وبناء على اللوكيشن أطلب منك إنك ترجع اسم الكورس، the course name أو the name of the student. So if I ask you to return a student name, so you are going to return the location, then you will check the location inside the array, the names array. If I ask you to return a course name, you will return locations, maybe one location or many locations, and you will find the location inside the courses array. So you can find them based on indexes. So as you can see here, the complexity قاعدة بتزيد معنا. This is why you will study what we call records and array of record in next course. And this is why we have what you all know about who database. You know about Oracle, SQL Server, MySQL. Why we are now using this application, database management system, DBMS, because it will make our life easier. راح يعمل حياتنا المبرمج وحياتنا أسهل in dealing with the data. بينما لو شوفوا كيف كذا الأري، وهذا مثال بسيط كيف تتعقد معنا قاعد. لو كان مثال أصعب شوي راح تزيد التعقيد and so on. So this is why we are using here, why now all the system are using database management system or database table like Oracle, SQL Server, MySQL. And inshallah you will learn how in next course you will use array of records. يعني راح تشوف عندنا array of records. array من records هذه أو السجل. So now I will just I have explained the whole idea, and I will maybe go to one question and show you how we are going to implement the code quickly. So don't forget, we have 3 arrays, one 2-dimension array and 1-dimension and 1-dimension. And based on my question, I will return the location from the 2-dimension array. And if I ask you to find the related name, the student name, you will check this index inside this array. If I ask you to find the course name, you will check the index here. Let's go, inshallah. I will just show you now. Clear the drawing. I will go to the first question. What are the courses that a given student can take? For example, try Ahmad or Omar. Now, for example, شباب هنا sorry. Let's suppose what are the courses that a given student can take. Now, what are, for example, the courses that Ahmad take? Can anyone tell me? Ahmad. شو الكورس اللي بيقدر ياخذها؟ What are the courses اللي بيقدر يدرسها الآن؟ شو الأشياء اللي بدرسها؟ اللي هي CS
2 وال 4.
ال 2 وال 4 ممتاز. هي CS 311 و CIS 321 اللي هي 0 1 2 و 3 و 4. Yes. So how did you figure out that? Because they are not graded. They are null. They are null. Now I ask you about the courses here. صح? So I am going to find the location inside the 2-dimension array and find the columns related that to the courses that Ahmad does not study, which contains null value or F or DM. Null value أو F لأنه ممكن يدرس اللي رسب فيه أو اللي حرم منه في الفصل هذا ممكن يدرسه الفصل القادم. Now Ahmad or Khalid can study the courses that are not graded or who got inside this course F. Omar can study, for example, CIS 321. Faisal can study Math 301 and CIS 321. So now the courses that he is going to study here, for example, Ahmed, we are going to do a search process inside my array here and return the value that, for example, is empty inside the first row number 1 for Ahmed. Now it contains column because the 2-dimension array consists of rows and columns. So I am going to return أرجع أو أسيب أو أحفظ الكولوم number 2 column number 2 and column number 4, and based on this column I am going to print the value from the courses array. So I will print, because I am asking you about the courses, I am going to check this location, which are the column name inside the column indexes inside the 2-dimension array. I am going to check this column inside the courses array here, which will be here 2 and 4. Then I will print the value inside the 1-dimension array, which is called courses. So for Ahmed, I will run CS 311 or CIS 321. The same for Khalid. I will check it row by row, and I will find the location here, which is F for Math 301. Then the location for this, for Khalid, is 3. So I will print the value indexed by 3 inside the courses array. Now I am asking about the courses here. What are the courses? If I ask you about the names, you will return the row location and find the corresponding name or the related name. Now I will stop share and share in order to draw. And sorry for making you a little bit late. I am sharing and now I have shared. So for returning the courses here, I will check return some columns value and check this column value inside the course's name based on condition, of course. So first of all, I will do my search process inside the two-dimension array. Second of all, I will return location based on a criteria. Third of all, I will compare this location if with the courses, if I ask you about the course's name, or with the student if I ask you about the student. For the courses, I will check the columns. For the names, I will check for the rows. I will return the rows. This is for exercise number 3 here. I will just go to another example. Now we have, I am now in slide 24. How many credit hours a certain student has taken, for example. You can just here go over the two-dimension array and check the value. If the value is not equal empty or not dn, sorry. How many credit hours? I am now in question number 2. How many credit hours a certain student has taken? For example, try Khalid. We mean by this any grade he has taken. We did not say he has passed or he has finished. We said has taken. يعني ممكن يكون DN, ممكن يكون F, ممكن يكون DN, ممكن يكون F. Okay, ممكن يكون fair يعني. So if I want to check here, I want to go through the two-dimension array and check. For Ahmed, for example, he should, for example, Ahmed, we will check here, he doesn't take any grade and he doesn't take here any grade, so we have counter of 2. We have 2 courses, so we will multiply the 2 courses by 3, assuming that the credit hours is 3, and we will return the row number, which is 0, and based on the row here, we will print out the corresponding name. Now for Khalid, here he has taken the 5 plus 3, which is 15. Now the row is 2, the row is 1. I will return the row number here and print the value inside the names array. And the same for Omar, which is 12, and for Faisal, also he has taken 9. So what he has taken. Now what he has finished, it is the same logic here. But we will check if it is A, B, C, D, but we will ignore or skip here for has finished. We mean has passed here. We will consider A, B, C, and D. Other than that, he has failed, okay, or not finished the courses. So the same, we are going to do our research here, and we will check if it's not equal A or B or C or D. That means he has not finished. Then we will return the row number and compare the row number with the names array, okay, for each student. Now, for example, what is the course that most students have got A in it? Now here I am asking for question number 4. What is the course what is the course that most students have got A in. So I am going to find the column for each course inside the two-dimensional array and compare it with the courses array, and so on. So here I will define, for example, counter 1, counter 2, counter 3, counter 4, counter 5. And I will check them column by column here. What is the courses for the MES students has got A. So I will check the column 1 and find C1. How many courses we got inside CS211? How many students got A? For example, here we have 2. Here we don't have anything. I mean by AA, not A plus. Here we have 1. Here we have 1. Here we have 0, nothing. So I will make my comparison between these counters. So this one will be the greatest here. So the greatest counter is for column number 0. So I will return here the column name, the column number, which is 0, and I will find the corresponding course here, which is CS211. So, and the same for other question. This is not an easy example, but we want to show you the idea of solving a real-life example and how these things are getting more complex and complex. So as I have mentioned, we have used array of records. Later you will study records in next course. You will study array of record, array of not integer or array of records. You can read about this. And why after that we have used, as I have mentioned, database table like Oracle, MySQL, SQL Server, and so on. Okay. Sorry for making you late. I just want to clarify the idea for all of you. And for now, thank you for listening. Do you have a question, Guy?